Breaking news! There is now a moderate risk issued for parts of Oklahoma, including the city of Tulsa. We got CAPE values up to 4,000 joules per kilogram, and we could be seeing some pretty bad severe weather today. Hello, I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and let's go ahead and dive right into this. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. There is a moderate risk issued for, it's not necessarily a large area, but it does encompass the major city of Tulsa right here in Oklahoma. Right here, area of population that could be affected is in this moderate risk is 1.4 million. Also includes cities like Broken Arrow, Enid, Stillwater, and Muskogee, Oklahoma. The enhanced risk isn't that much better. It does affect 3.5 million people, including Oklahoma City and Wichita, Kansas, Norman, Fort Smith, Arkansas, as well as Edmond, Oklahoma. So we need to pay attention to that. We need to pay attention to that. Slight risk encompasses parts of Kansas, Missouri, including Springfield, more of Arkansas, more of Oklahoma, including Fort Sill. The marginal risk goes from St. Louis all the way down to Texas, including Austin, like Austin right there. So that's basically what's going on right here. They just issued this moderate risk this morning right here. So yeah, that's essentially how quickly they decided to do this. So let's go ahead and see why they issued the moderate risk. Already off the bat, we can already know why they issued at least part of it. The tornado risk, there's now a 15% risk within that hatched area, which means there is a 15% risk of tornadoes that are EF2 to EF5 in strength within 25 miles of a point. So that's that small area right there. It seems really small. It is really small in area, but at the same time, the Andover tornado, that moderate risk with the tornado was kind of small in area as well. So yeah, everyone needs to keep an eye out for this. The wind threat also was ramped up for parts of eastern Oklahoma, including Tulsa. There is now a 45% risk within that hatched area, which means there is a 45% risk of 65 knots or 75 miles per hour winds within 25 miles of a point right there. That's a particularly high threat right there, so we need to pay attention to that and keep that in mind. The hail threat is at 30%. It's remaining at 30% with that hatched area. There's a 30%, which means there's a 30% probability of 2-inch hail or more or larger within 25 miles of a certain point. So that's basically what's going on right here. So let's go ahead and read the summary parts of the synopsis, and we'll also take a look at some of the models like the HERN, the RAP, the NAM, etc. So yeah, there's a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms in north central and northeast Oklahoma. Summary: intense severe thunderstorms are expected across portions of northern Oklahoma and far southern Kansas, mainly between 3 to 11 p.m. That's quite specific right there. So yeah, it's currently 10:20 at the time of recording, so yeah, this is quite specific. Tornadoes are likely, a few of which could be strong, along with widespread damaging hail and widespread damaging winds and very large hail. I was about to say widespread damaging winds, which that's not inaccurate, but I was about to say damaging hail. Either way, it wouldn't have been it would have been fine. But anyway, let's continue before I get ahead of myself. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about this real quickly. Initial supercell development is expected towards the early afternoon across west central and southwest Kansas, immediately ahead of the mid-level wave where a bent back plume of low-level moisture persists. Severe hail should be the main threat, especially as convection gets undercut from west to east through the rest of the afternoon. But a tornado threat will also exist as a convection impinges on higher quality moisture towards south central Kansas. More intense supercells will likely develop immediately ahead of the surface cyclone near the south central Kansas, north central Oklahoma border by 21Z, which 21Z is about 4 p.m. Central Time in Oklahoma. So that's basically when this thing was going to start really taking off. Several hours. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. This activity should largely ride along the surface warm front with verticity-rich environment. Where additional cells may develop along the dry line. Okay, this thing just updated too. Develop along the dry line towards central Oklahoma through early evening, where large buoyancy of 2,500 to 3,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE will be prevalent. So 2,500 to 3,500 joules of CAPE, that's a pretty conducive environment right there. So it's not like the 5,000 we've seen, but but it's still very conducive. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at this. This is that 22Z. This is the CAPE at its peak around 21Z. We're seeing areas cracking, we're seeing areas are cracking 3,500, 3,800 even. The cap, there's really no cap to this. So that's why they issued the moderate risk right here. There's really no cap. There's barely any cap going on right here, which means these storms can take off at first instance. We're even seeing values down in Texas cracking 4,000 joules per kilogram. So that's what's going on. But there's no cap here right now. There's no cap, and that's what's concerning me because these supercells can fire off very fast. Because if there's no or little cap, the cap that's left is going to break, and it'll break explosively. So that's the situation. Let's actually take a look at the dew point temperatures as well, because we're seeing dew points in the upper 60s to the lower 70s right here. We're seeing 70, 71 dew points right here in eastern Oklahoma. Tulsa, around here, we're seeing upper 60s, lower 70s. So that's a pretty rich moisture content right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the temperature, because this is going to be 74 here, and with dew points at the upper 60s to 70, that's close to 95% humidity right there. So that is more than enough moisture to essentially for these storms to take off the way that the SPC is saying they will. So that's what's basically going on. Relative humidity right here, that's basically, yeah, 96, 96, 97, very much moisture. There's a lot of moisture. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So yeah, that's not kidding around. That's not kidding around. Let's take a look at the precipitation, simulated reflectivity. Look at this. This is when these supercells start developing right here. This is it right here, and we could see some potentially very intense ones right here. So yeah, these storms are not kidding around. This is just one model. Let's take a look at the RAP. The precipitation isn't that as good, but the RAP does have CAPE values. We're seeing CAPE values in parts of Oklahoma close to Oklahoma City cracking 4,000 joules per kilogram right here. So yeah, not much of a difference from the HER model, but nevertheless. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points that the RAP is saying. They're going with up to the lower 70s for Oklahoma right there. So that's an interesting development. Let's take a look at the temperature. So yeah, this is nearly saturated right here. We're close to 100% humidity in all of Oklahoma with the RAP model. So that's essentially basically what is up with this. So yeah, take this very seriously. There's a moderate risk issued. We're going to be probably seeing a severe weather outbreak today. So take everything I presented to you very seriously. Let's go ahead and finish up the SPC reading right here. Several HOR runs along the 0Z, HRW, ARW, and NSSL ARW suggest classic intense supercells to bow echo evolution will occur from north central to northeast Oklahoma. This lends confidence that in amplifying the severe threat probabilities. Significant tornadoes and very large hail will be most likely within the early supercell stage, with later transitioning to significant damaging wind threat and a bowing QLCS towards the Ozark Plateau. This emerging MCS should eventually weaken towards the late evening and overnight through a combination of increasing SIN, which is a cap right there, into its south along the Red River, and weaker instability east of the Ozarks. So that's the situation we have right here. This is we have another moderate risk. This is another moderate risk in 3 days. This is the first moderate risk in only 3 days. The time between the last moderate risk that hit with the tornado that hit Andover to the other moderate risk I believe was 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. We also have other days for severe weather that's going to be happening, but because this is what's going on with the moderate risk, This is the video. This video is being dedicated to that, and I'll have a separate video talking about the rest of the severe weather risk days. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But with that being said, that is really going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out, helps me make more videos like these. It also helps inform more of the public about weather situations like these. So, yeah, I'm sure reedtimmer's going to be out there storm chasing again. That was amazing tornado footage he did on Friday. It actually got featured on Drama Alert, which I'm really happy about. So, yeah, I'll leave the links to those videos down below. And with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. If you're in Oklahoma in this moderate and even this enhanced risk area, take this very seriously. We all saw what happened in Andover on Friday. Thankfully, no one got killed because everyone took it seriously. I hope no one gets killed with this. If the worst does happen and there's tornadoes, take it seriously. Seek immediate shelter, and most importantly, stay safe.